The world is watching on as US President Donald Trump and China's Premier Xi Jinping, they dine on Seoul in Florida at a candlelit table with their wives. But underneath the niceties, there's less palatable issues of currency manipulation, trade and North Korea to dig into. Well, we've got David Quo of Motley Fool here with us now to talk this through. Hi, David.
Hello, Katie. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. The sun's shining here in London, so it's all good. Now, I wanted to invite you on today because I want to get an idea of what China, what Asia make of Trump.
Well, you know, it's really interesting, Katie, because, I mean, going back to what you were talking about, the candlelit dinner and the banquet for President Xi Jinping, it wasn't really that long ago when Donald Trump was criticizing President Obama for whining and dining President Xi Jinping. And he said he wouldn't give him anything more than a McDonald's hamburger. Well, no McDonald's hamburger this time. He was actually whining and dining him. So I think, you know, one of the problems that we have here is when we listen to what Donald Trump says, or more correctly, when we read what he says in the tweets, he says one thing, and then when it comes time to delivering, what he actually says is something completely different. And I think this is one of the problems that China has with President Trump, and that is how much of it can we actually believe? How much do we think he's going to be able to do? And as a result of that, how do we plan accordingly?
And in terms of Xi Jinping at home in China, he has far more power than that of Trump, because as we know, a lot of policies that Trump wants, he can't deliver. Jinping
on this trip to America and saying, can you really sort of cut a deal with Donald Trump? Can you really tame Donald Trump for us so that we will actually have not so much more respect, but probably sort of more credibility about what you're trying to do within China? Because reforming the state-owned enterprises is not going to be an easy job for him. And he really needs, you know, all the support from the Communist Party to do so. So they're watching very carefully, Katie.
So there's a lot of pressure on him as well from the Chinese population to come up trumps, if you like.
Yes, absolutely, Katie. I mean, they are watching him very carefully, and they are watching how he handles Donald Trump. And of course, you know, like most people, when he goes to America, nobody really quite knows how Donald Trump is going to react. Is it going to be the Donald Trump that is going to say, you know, this is China that's been stealing all our jobs, you know, this is China that's been manipulating its currency? Or is it going to be the Donald Trump, the businessman, who's going to say, let's see if we can cut a deal. Why have we got a trade deficit with China? Why are we importing more than we are exporting to you? So hopefully, you know, at this very high level, if they can get on along together, the two of them, then I think, you know, there's a chance that everything will filter down to a lower level.
I'm finding it hard to understand how anything positive can come out for China, because the whole point is Trump wants these jobs back. He wants companies to come back to America. He wants more production on home soil. So how can this ever be a positive outcome for China?
So if he can cut a deal with President Trump and say to President Trump, what we will do is to allow American-made goods to come into China. If you have a look at China, you're really hard-pressed to find American cars in China, for instance. And so therefore, I think, you know, what President Xi Jinping will try and do is to say, we will try and make it easier for American-made goods to come into China, and please don't, you know, slap on these 35% tariffs on the China-made goods coming into America.
Another subject that we've got to touch upon is North Korea, because Donald Trump has made it clear that he's going to tackle this problem with or without the support of Xi Jinping. What do you think is going to be the outcome of this, and what are people saying over in your region about North Korea?
Okay, you know, I think President Xi Jinping wants to convince North Korea that it really shouldn't be lobbing missiles, you know, into the ocean in the direction of Japan, or lobbing missiles in the direction of South Korea. So President Xi Jinping and Donald Trump are on the same page as far as this is concerned. They both want the same thing. They both want peace in North Asia, and if they don't have peace in North Asia, then it could actually sort of affect not only the region, the immediate region, but also Southeast Asia as well. So consequently, they both want the same thing. And I think, you know, President Xi Jinping has already tried, for instance, to ban the export of North Korean coal into China. But it doesn't seem to be sort of working that well. But sometimes, you know, when you actually impose trade bans on a certain country, it takes a little while for it to filter through.
Let's hope that they do. Thank you very much indeed. That is David Quote of Motley Fool talking to us today about the Asian perspective on the big meeting this week between the US President Donald Trump and the China Premier Xi Jinping. Thank you. Goodbye.